So here's some chants. Thank you. So this is, we begin our sessions with chanting the Homage, Refuges, and Precepts. These refuges are, in some form, are a practice, a focus for all of the Buddhist traditions. And you know, for me, when I chant the refuges and the precepts, I really place myself in that ancient lineage of those who are setting their intention toward awakening. And as we begin with honoring the Buddha, you know, so just kind of thinking, what does that mean to honor the Buddha? What do I honor in my life? What do I show my respect toward? And honor with my attention. So that's, you know, when we give our attention to something, we're kind of giving our life energy to that. And so what am I giving my attention to? And it's so it's a reminder, oh, you know, the fully awakened one, that quality of being, which is full of wisdom and compassion. So can I turn my heart, turn my mind, turn my attention to that, to give that honor in this moment and in my life? It can be a contemplation, turning the mind toward awakening. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranam gacchami. Dhammang saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Panatipata Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Kamesu Michachara Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Musawada Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Sura Maraya Maja Pamadatana Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Idam isila maga phala nyanasa pachayo hotu. Sadhu, 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 anumodami. So I invite you to find the posture that in this moment is supportive to your practice, to fully arrive and to maintain a quality of ease and attention, awareness. So taking a moment to check in with your body and ask, what does your body need right now? What posture is most supportive? And finding a quality of balance and support in that posture. And ease, while at the same time bringing energy. So this balance of ease, not striving or straining, and a quality of relaxed attention. That attention energy is expressed to a large degree in the consistency of attention, the commitment to begin again, to come back when the mind drifts off or we start kind of inner narrative, we get caught up in emotions or in physical sensations. So we can bring our attention to the present moment, gathering our attention in the body. Feeling the whole body, breathing, sensing the aliveness of the body. Tingling, soreness, allowing all of it to be known in each moment, unfolding as it is, receiving each moment's unfolding experience of the senses in the body. Also welcoming however the energy is manifesting. Opening the heart, mind to receive however our whole being is showing up in this moment. Welcome. Welcome to life. What's the quality of energy? Is there fatigue, anxiety, restlessness, sadness, peace, joy? Welcome it all. We've been giving our attention to contemplating truthfulness as a precept, not lying, not excluding, being honest, having the courage to speak the truth. And today I'm going to explore truthfulness as a perfection of wisdom, a parame. And so we begin as we sit in meditation with opening the heart and mind to our whole being, not pushing anything out, not excluding anything as not worthy or that it doesn't belong, or that thought is not a Buddhist thought or not a right thought. Just as thoughts arise, not to get caught in them, but to recognize and to discern how that thought or that feeling or that emotion or that intention or that wanting, how we experience it, how it plays out, how it expresses itself within our stream of being, our heart, mind, body. So that's exploring mindfulness as deep honesty and inclusion. When we acknowledge the presence of a thought that perhaps is a painful thought or an unskillful thought or a preoccupation or a reaction, jealousy or judgment, self-judgment, judging another. When we open to the reality of that, we're opening to the fullness of our humanity. When we shut it out, we're shutting out a part of our humanity. Wisdom tells us that some things are to be cultivated and others are to be let go. It's all not me, not mine. We don't have to cling to it. And so we gather our attention in the body. In the body as an energetic field, as a process, as an aliveness, gathering our attention into the body. The whole body breathing. As we feel the body, perhaps we can be aware that the body is not a solid thing, doesn't have like a hard boundary, but it has a kind of permeableness, a quality of openness, an open system. The breath comes in and out. Water vapor enters and leaves. Sound comes through and is experienced and known. Rises and falls. Known in the body. Gathering attention into the sense of this whole body, aware, alive, present. We don't need to focus in a very narrow way on the breath. Although if you find that that's supportive to you, you can do that. Eventually, we can open up our awareness in a wider way to the whole body breathing. Letting the breath be not so much in the foreground, but kind of in the background as a reminder to keep beginning again. One of the skillful means for a very honest practice of meditation is a system of recognizing and looking deeply into or investigating deeply what arises in our practice, because thoughts, emotions, patterns, habit patterns, reactivity, it all arises. That's part of the practice of meditation, is to be aware of what is arising, because there's a lot of habit in the body, mind, and heart that is just arises when we sit still and be quiet and don't do anything, don't distract ourselves. And so the system, maybe you're familiar with it. It's pretty well known. The acronym is RAIN, RAIN. So just briefly, it's when so there's a mindful moment of noticing that we're not aware of the body, we're not mindful of the breath, the mind is caught up, it's being carried away on some habitual way. And so there's in that moment of seeing that there is not stillness and attention and presence in this moment, that we recognize that there's some pattern. So what is it? So there's a bit of a naming, self-judgment, jealousy, sleepiness, restlessness, fantasy. And in that recognition, it's an attitude that we bring to it of interest. So it's not an attitude of judgment and slamming the door. It's that welcome. Welcome this part of me, which is revealing itself, this thought form. Not welcome that I'm going to pursue it, but, oh, it's come into view. It's come into awareness. Welcome. I see you. I know you. So that's the A, which is acceptance. So there's recognizing and accepting. We don't have to fight it. We don't have to push it away. If we just accept it, we don't get into a struggle with it. It's just what is coming through right now. And then there's a kind of a follow through on that, which is bringing interest to it, bringing a quality called investigation, which is mostly about how it manifests energetically in the body as a contraction, as a kind of feeling of frozenness, as a pain, where it is in the body. So when the investigation is not an analysis of like a psychotherapeutic analysis of the story of it, it's just, how is it in this moment? And the N is remembering that it's not me, not mine. It's not self. It's not something what I need to identify with. So the N is non-identifying, recognizing, accepting, investigating, non-identifying. They're all connected and they kind of unfold. And that is a quality, it's a practice of deep honesty. So maybe in these last few minutes, I invite you to explore that in your practice. So I invite you to take a minute to just release your posture if you'd like. Just take a little stretch. So just a minute to stand up if you like.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay, so let's just gather. We have just 15 minutes before the end of the first part of the session. So I happen to have given a talk on a retreat that I was co-teaching this past week. And the topic was included the Parame of Truthfulness. And so those of you who have participated in the online saying in an ongoing way may remember that we kind of were reflecting and learning about the Parame and practicing the Parame, the 10 Parame. And one of the Parame, the seventh, is truthfulness, which is actually a really, we've been talking about the precept of not lying and exploring the precept, in our previous sessions. So, you don't have to. Those of you who are new to this sitting, you don't have to know what it's not. I'm not requiring previous knowledge. They're all standalone talks, but I'm just referring back to those for those who have participated. We've been talking about the precept of not lying and the whole practice of virtue and how not lying is such an important training. These trainings help us to create a sense of integrity and create a sense of to offer to ourselves and to others a safety, a quality of non-harming in the way that we are, in the way that we share our space, our lives with those beings around us. That so lying, and we were also talking about gossiping and not speaking badly or harmfully about another person or groups of people. How when we do that, it harms ourselves. We feel separate. We feel divided, and it also harms the sense of safety. Even if people are talking about somebody and they're not there, and we have this, and they're criticizing them or something, and we have this sense of, oh, maybe when I'm not here, they'll talk about me like that, and if we participate in that, of course, we're sharing that loss of safety, of caring, of a quality of being that doesn't put somebody in a box because of something that they've said or done, doesn't define somebody. And it's that attitude, it's that same attitude that we bring to ourselves in our meditation practice, that attitude of, that yes, unskillful thoughts arise, jealousy arises, judgment arises, and it arises from causes and conditions, and it doesn't define who I am. So truthfulness as a parame, the Pali word is sacha, and it's kind of a fulfillment of this practice that we do earlier on, the practice in the parame, these perfections of the heart, these perfections of these beautiful qualities of heart. In this list of 10, the precepts, or sila, comes much earlier. It's the second, is generosity, and then sila. So, and then this quality of truthfulness is something that builds on different qualities. So it's something that is deeper than training ourselves not to lie, or not to gossip, or not to speak harmfully about others. It's something about how we engage in life, and in his book on the parame, Ajahn Sucitto, who has, if you're interested, you can find online this beautiful book called The Parame, Ways to Cross Life's Floods. And I shared the PDF with you earlier. And if you want it, you can't find it, feel free to email me, and I'll email you the PDF of that book. It's a beautiful ebook on the parame. And so he talks about that actually the word Buddha, one of the names that the Buddha used for himself is Tathagata, which is the one who is open and has and understands what is. So this quality really comes from not excluding and not living out of a quality of bias, but really knowing and recognizing and discerning what is wise and what is deluded. So Ajahn Sucitto kind of goes through the preceding parame, and I'll name them for you. And he says how each one of these contributes to the development of truthfulness, this deep truthfulness, which is not just about not speaking unskillfully, but is about being true in who we are. And that's something that, I think we keep working at. It's not something that, I don't feel that I've arrived at that place. I feel it's something that I'm still, I'm really exploring and aspiring to develop in my own being. So the first parami is dana, generosity. And generosity is a practice that opens our heart to the interconnectedness of life, that we share what we can. So this sharing, recognizes that others may need what we have access to. And so that is a kind of an acknowledgement and honesty that we can share. We have the capacity to share and not holding back and kind of hoarding. And then the next is sila. So this beautiful practice of non-harming, of developing. It's really sila is a deep understanding of our interconnectedness as well. That when we harm another, we also harm ourselves. That if I'm violent to a so-called other, that it harms me. If I speak harmfully, it harms me. So recognizing that everything that we do has an impact on ourselves, and also how we are within ourselves has an impact, affects the quality of being that we bring into life around us. So there's a clarity that develops with the practice of sila. And then the next one is nekama, renunciation. And renunciation, so people have this idea of renunciation, that it's this big thing that, we have to, renounce all pleasures. And that's a wrong understanding of what renunciation is. Renunciation is something that is practiced with each breath, as we see jealousy is arising, as we see judgment, as we see an intention to harm, to deceive, to just let it go. As we see ourselves getting caught up in reactivity, to take that space of mindfulness and just take a breath and allow ourselves to let go. So renunciation has to do with that cultivating that capacity to release. And then coming out of renunciation is wisdom, panya, the capacity to discern. This parami discriminates in terms of what is skillful and unskillful, harmful and beneficial. And so as we develop through these parami, we begin to trust ourselves. And actually, if we are struggling with the hindrance of doubt, just coming back to this capacity to discern what is skillful and unskillful, and knowing that when I do this, it causes harm. When I do this, it brings me to more happiness and freedom. That is a foundation that we can come back to when we're struggling with doubt. And energy, as our minds get less and less caught up with what is unskillful, it liberates more energy. And so it supports and empowers wisdom. And when our minds are caught up, when our minds are stressed, when our minds are scattered, energy just spins around and is dissipated and is lost. And as we, often people find on retreat that as energy gathers and the mind settles, that yeah, we don't feel so tired all the time. There's more aliveness. And then the next one is patience, Kanti. So it kind of gives us this stability to just be with what is arising, even if it's difficult. And then, rather than blaming or worrying or getting caught up in beliefs, well, this must be, happening to me because I'm bad, or, I must, some belief system, just being present with what is arising. And so all of these support this deepening of honesty and truthfulness, a truthfulness which is, in which we trust. There's a sense of trust in ourselves to come back to this place of knowing, of clarity. And so, we're not always perfect in our truthfulness. And so, but if we're truthful with ourselves, if we're honest with ourselves, then we recognize, yeah. So I got into some self-deception there, and let me come back to just being clear with myself, being honest and straight with myself. Okay, this is what happened. This is what I got caught up in. And, okay, did I make a mess? Is there some cleaning up I need to do with somebody or in some context? So thank you. I'm going to stop there with the Dharma talk. Maybe we can stop recording. And before